Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Sonik and Biko, taking place here on Secret Valley. Eagle-eyed viewers will point out and say, hey, you don't have the overlay. Yes, once again, Blizzard came up with a minor patch. I'm hoping, since that there are no balance changes in the patch, it won't break the replay systems that we have. Whenever there are changes to the game, sometimes how the game works, the replays do get out of sync, and then the replays do in fact break. You may be wondering how exactly or what exactly causes that break in the system. Well, it's because when you are playing a game of WarCraft 3 and you're playing against an opponent, you're not the information that is being sent is really just the commands that you are sending that you're making through this interface. So when you highlight something, you highlight it, but until you tell it to actually move somewhere and attack, that's when it does all of that attack, and then all of that damage is the damage isn't sent. Only the mouse clicks are. I believe that's how the system works. So when the replays, suddenly your damage is slightly different on, say, a ghoul, as in the most recent patch. A unit that may have been dead in one game, in one replay patch, could still be alive. And now you have all these additional units out there on the battlefield, or you have missing units or things like that, and then the replays can just get out of sync. So, this video will either be a video showing a game getting out of sync, or just as an explanation, or an interesting night elf versus undead matchup. Anyways, it is going to be a Keeper of the Grove going up against a Death Knight here. I'm going to zoom back out. Oh, see, that's like a little bit too far. There we go. Not quite sure why. Like, I zoomed, it felt too close. One scroll wheel click out. It's like, wait. Now you're looking at too high of a view. Is this a little... Alright, that seems okay. Okay, yeah, that seems a little better. I don't know. It's just all of that. Not quite sure what exactly we're looking for in terms of how close and how far things are. Alright, skeletal minions are going to be popping on out here as soon as, that Death Knight gets a kill. I believe there's a dead squirrel right here. Meanwhile, the Death Knight heads off to the north, sees that there's an Ancient of War there, but the Ancient of War isn't tanking the damage. Beautiful Death Coil steal there on that Ogre Magi. I think Sonik was just asleep at the wheel, and the Death Knight is taking quite a bit of experience away from his opponent. Keeper of the Grove still sitting at level 1. The Death Knight actually coming out on top in terms of experience right now. The Death Knight up to 152 gets to level 2 first, and is now still racking up quite a bit of damage. Death Knight does have to be careful though, down to 188 hit points. Is he going to be able to back away freely? Death Knight down to 103 and now being forced to retreat back. Meanwhile, Ghoul is going after... Are we going to see an Archer death? Yes, we are. Archer also getting taken down. Death Knight racking up the kills and now looking to head back. Alright, Tech to Tier 2 has not yet been started. Skeletal minions making their way over. Ancient of Wonders also joining in on the fight here, as the Moonwells are pretty dry since they have not been filled just quite yet. Keeper of the Grove may try to get a Death Coil, or... Nope, no Death Coil. I believe that was a deny there. Not quite sure what I saw what attacked, as the Keeper of the Grove on the board with 100 experience, and the Death Knight now being forced to retreat back down to 80 hit points. But with that, Unholy Aura regeneration on top of that strength-based regeneration, that Death Knight should be able to get back into the 110 range pretty quick. Alright, there's the 102 hit point. Going to go after some archers again. Ghoul is going to get taken down. There's a Night Death Coil for a steal. We're going to see a Dust of Appearance. There we are. There's a Dust of Appearance. And now just trying to finish off an Archer. That Archer draining even more Moonwells, but the Archer still gets taken down here as the Death Knight stays alive at 49 hit points. Alright, so that additional regeneration early on, also constantly denying experience by taking down some additional ghouls, is helping out. There's some additional skeletal minions coming out of the ground here, as that ghoul now trying to retreat back away. Skeletal minions trying to go up against some of these tree ants off on the side here. Death Knight dangerously low on hit points throughout much of this match, but still somehow able to place down that pressure. Very strong regeneration. One more final shot. Ghoul going to get taken down there as the Keeper of the Grove gets to level 2. Does have a Clarity Potion. Going to go for an Entangle. And now perhaps try and Reversal of Fortune there. That Ghoul is going to get taken out. A couple of Skeletal Minions also going to be lost as the Keeper of the Grove racking up a little bit more experience as well. Meanwhile, back inside here, we are already at Halls of the Dead, getting up a Graveyard. We should... and now teching to tier 2 or tier 3, excuse me. We should also be getting up a slaughterhouse and a lich, but need quite a bit of lumber. Not that much lumber back at home just quite yet. So what is the play going to be? Get a little bit of additional, or excuse me, start that lich perhaps, or perhaps even just get a Naga Sea Witch to begin clearing out some of those creep camps earlier. Get up a slaughterhouse so the Death Knight is able to able to have some additional regeneration as we're looking at the Keeper of the Grove trying to clear out this Goblin Merchant shop in the center. There's that Naga Sea Witch in the middle portion of the map. That's going to be higher pressure. Death Knight now making its way forward, and here we go. Damage trying to be added. Keeper of the Grove trying to retreat away. There's going to be some cold arrows, and well, cold arrows not going to be enough to finish off this Keeper of the Grove just quite yet as we're looking at more damage making its way back down. All right, Death Knight trying to get in front of this Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove is just going to get squeezed into the corner right here. A little bit of padding. Sonic's Keeper of the Grove getting caught amongst the trees. Not going to be able to make its way out. Are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal at the last minute? We do. And with that, Scroll of Town Portal burned. It is going to be, well, sent back home. Meanwhile, Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch sees that there is no Tree of Life here. Going to head back off to the north. Tech to Tier 2 already done. Going into Dual Ancients of Lore. Tech to Tier 3 nearly done here. Slaughterhouse also about to come online as the Keeper of the Grove gets up to level 3. Turning back around, we can see a little bit of damage. Archer's going to be able to get quite a bit of damage onto that Death Knight. Death Knight does have a potion of healing and able to stay alive. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter now out on the battlefield, and there's a mana burn. All right, so Demon Hunter as the follow-up secondary hero. Are we going to see that Null Warden going to get taken down at the hands of the Ancient of War? No experience there as we're now looking at a little bit more damage again. All right, Naga Sea Witch down to 62. There's going to be a Staff of Preservation for the save. Saves the Keeper of the Grove. Takes down the Death Knight. Takes down the Naga Sea Witch, mana burns the Death Knight, and all these units are retreating back again. Demon Hunter on the board. Great seesaw battle. Quick change in tempo there as the Keeper of the Grove sits at level 3. All right, there is a Tome of Intelligence off to the side. That one Ancient of War most likely going to root. We are looking at the Naga Sea Witch getting resurrected, getting up those obsidian statues as well, getting up some additional ziggurats, and this is where Undead really can start to clear out some more creep camps quickly and efficiently, using that Death Knight and Naga Sea Witch and eventual Lich with that Orb of Corruption coming online too. All right, some early action on both sides. Sonik does have the hero experience lead. Going to go ahead and entangle that Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi taking quite a bit of damage. Does get taken down. Wanda mana stealing picked up there. And we're just looking at Sonik looking to clear out some creep camps, transition into bears and dryads, as these archers are not going to be able to stick around in the late game. Fork Lightning coupled with Frost Nova, Death Coil, just too much instant hero spell damage as the Naga Sea Witch and Death Knight clear up another wisp there. There's one Obsidian statue keeping tabs on this entire army of undead units. Here, going to go ahead and finish them off. Lich about to pop on out. Should have enough for that Orb of Corruption in just a moment. Not quite sure where that Lich is heading off to. Should pick up an Orb of Corruption here from the shop. Yes, no. Wait for it. All right, there you go. Picks up that Orb of Corruption and now going to regroup with that Death Knight and Naga Sea Witch. All right. Keeper of the Grove, Demon Hunter, level 3. We are teching the tier 3, level 2 on that Demon Hunter. Yes, I can recognize my numbers. Level 3, 2, 1 going up against level 3, level 2. Demon Hunter, Death Coil, Frost Nova could be in trouble. Potion of Invulnerability. Now needs to perhaps mana burn that Lich, but could end up taking another Frost Nova here if he is not careful. Needs to mana burn the Lich. What is he waiting for? And, well, getting stuck behind a bunch of ghouls. That could be a problem. Demon Hunter, there's another Frost Nova. Demon Hunter falls at level 3. Death Knight, however, could fall as well. What's going down? Archer's trying to turn that Death Knight into a pincushion, and the Death Knight ends up falling too. Keeper of the Grove going to come back around here. Level 3, traded for a level 2. Both sides continuing to fight. Obsidian Statue taking a little bit of damage as well. And both sides suffering heavy casualties here as the Keeper of the Grove may be able to finish off a Naga Sea Witch. All right, 1 or 2 more shots onto the Naga Sea Witch. 1 more shot. There it goes. No, Mana Shield. Mana Shield at the last moment. Keeper of the Grove, however, somehow stays alive, down to 14 hit points, and going to turn the corner again. Mana Shield toggled. We're going to see 1 Obsidian Statue taken down. Keeper of the Grove needs to be rejuvenated, down to 26 hit points, and this Keeper of the Grove trying to dance away. Druid of the Claw should be able to regroup right here. Are we going to see an entangle? Yes, no entangle needed. That ghoul chasing after this Keeper of the Grove for so long, as we're going to see a little bit more damage come back across there. All right, Keeper of the Grove seems to be okay for now. Archer going to get taken down. Lich, well, it has the presence for another Frost Nova. Could perhaps Frost Nova the Druid of the Claw before the Druid of the Claw can turn back into its fighting form, and it's gonna, well, get trapped into a corner. All right, Druid of the Claw into its fighting form, but too little, too late. Gonna get taken down at the hand of a couple of ghouls. There goes another ghoul there, as the Keeper of the Grove now sits at level 4. Keeper of the Grove does have enough for perhaps another entangle here. Demon Hunter going to be coming back around. We're going to see perhaps another rejuvenation. Are we going to see some mana burns as we're going after the Destroyer here? Destroyer able to back away off to the north. 32 supply going up against 41 supply. Undead with the supply lead. Hero level advantages have a level 4, level 2, perhaps level 3 on the Demon Hunter momentarily, as the Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch, and Lich going in at 3-2-2. All right, we don't see an additional Obsidian Statue, so that needs to be replaced here. This is going to be a problem for Biko. Biko needs to keep his units alive and, well, has to be careful of those shockwaves as the Demon Hunter now comes in. Perhaps going to try to get a mana burn. Mana burn onto the Lich. Lich going to be in some trouble. Down to 54 hit points, trying to retreat all the way to the back. Are we going to see some damage onto those from those Dryads? Dryads getting damage onto the Death Knight, not the Lich. Finally going after the Lich. Lich going to get taken down, but I don't believe it was at the hands of the Demon Hunter, or mainly at the hands of the Death Knight here. Meanwhile, we see level 3 now on the Naga Sea Witch here. Orb of Venom on the Keeper of the Grove. Going to try to finish off a couple more of those ghouls. Another ghoul going to get taken down, as we're still seeing some more damage here. All right, 1 ghoul. No, wow, that ghoul able to escape away at, well, is it going to finally get taken down? No, Staff of Preservation trying to finish off some of those additional targets. Going after the heroes now. Naga Sea Witch down to 68 hit points, down to 34. 1 more final shot should be enough. Demon Hunter unable to catch up. 2 very low hit point units able to get back and fight again. Meanwhile, the Obsidian Statue going to try to come back around. There's some absorbed mana going to go ahead and take to the skies, as we're looking at another bit of damage again. All right, the ebb and flow of this battle, so much damage. Both sides just trying to make the other suffer more losses and having some difficulties trying to save their own units. Druid of the Claw down to 500 hit points already. Staff of Preservation should be inbound. There we are. There we go. Druid of the Claw here, perhaps going to try and rejuvenate a Dryad, as the Naga Sea Witch back up to 290 hit points. Going to take a little bit of damage. There's a mana burn as well. And just prioritizing targets could be the key part of the game here. Level 4, level 3, Druid of the Claw still staying in Druid form. Meanwhile, the Destroyers, all these units off to the sides. Orb of Venom perhaps should be given to the Demon Hunter, so it has a way to attack air. Are we going to see a mana burn? Yes, onto the Death Knight. Death Knight was in mid-Death Coil animation, only to say, wait, I'm out of mana. Keeper of the Grove really, needs to hand over that Orb of Venom to that Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter, once he has a ranged attack against those Destroyers, doesn't have to dive in nearly as far. That's going to be the key part. There's a mana burn onto the Lich again. Going to go ahead and back away. Medallion of Courage, that strength and intelligence really helping out that Lich be a little bit more beefy, while also having a little bit more mana for more of those spells. All right, going to go back around. There's a Death Coil for the save once more. Death Knight getting blocked by the or blocking the Demon Hunter as the Death Knight, well, unable to finish off the Demon Hunter because of that Staff of Preservation. As Undead is looking to build on any experience lead here, Death Knight, Lich, and Naga Sea Witch, level 3, 2, 3. That is going to be some important battles. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter, currently sitting at level 3, really needs to get to level 5. Level 5 will be that level 3 mana burn. Level 3 mana burn is so incredibly effective at shutting down enemy heroes. As well, they never really have enough mana to do anything, and then you can start mana burning the obsidian statues as well. Taking down a big mana on those obsidian statues means that, well, the obsidian statues run out of glue to hold and glue this army together. I'm going to see another Frost Nova onto the Demon Hunter. No, we don't. There's a Staff of Preservation. I thought we were baiting a Frost Nova. Don't actually see it. And now the Keeper of the Grove going to try and punish his opponent as Dryads are now making their way back over. All right. Red Drake. A little bit of damage going back and forth. Druids of the Claw going to try and engage. Well, stuck between a rock and a hard place. That is a lot of damage from both sides. That War Golem making its way back over. Red Drake is going to get taken down. It does get taken down. Death Knight, however, still sitting only at level 3. Demon Hunter now making its way back around. Perhaps going to try to go after some of those units. There's another mana burn again. But it doesn't feel like Sonik really has a decent enough answer, as biko is constantly forcing Sonic's Demon Hunter to dive fairly deep into the Undead army just to burn 100 points of mana. There are no expansions anywhere on the map yet, except for Sonik, who is trying to set up this Tree of Life at the 3 o'clock spot. That is going to be key if Sonik wants to, well, play an economic game and outlast his opponent. There goes Claws of Attack plus 12. There's a big mana burn, or a mana burn again. Naga, Sea Witch, and Lich, most likely one of those two are going to be getting that Claws of Attack plus 12 as the Demon Hunter down to 18 hit points gets blasted down once more. Death Knight looking strong here, but however could run into a little bit of trouble. Down to 100 hit points, down to 90, down to 33, trying to escape away. He gets taken down at level 4. So once more, trading the level 3 Demon Hunter for a level 4 Death Knight. That does work out well, but then what you have remaining is a level 3 Lich and a level 3 Naga Sea Witch going up against a level 5 Keeper of the Grove. All right, Obsidian Statues dangerously low on mana. Are we perhaps going to be looking at a little bit more picking? There is, well, a big entangle only to see it be devoured. It looked like the Demon Hunter was trying to finish things off there. Meanwhile, Druids of the Claw need to get some big rejuvenations off. There is the resurrection on that Death Knight. Death Knight now able to lead the army again as this army moved just slightly faster. Death Knight continuing to move around here. Destroyer's going to try and finish off some of these Murlocs off to the north as the Tree of Life is nearing completion. Look at how low hit point all of these Druids of the Claw are. There are also some Druids of the Talon out on the battlefield. 29 to 47 piercing damage. Very effective against these Destroyers. What are these Destroyers? However, what are they going to do next, though, as the Druid of the Claw tries to clear out some easy green creep camps? Biko is in the driver's seat of this game. Sonik needs to get back into this, and he's going to be attempting to do so with that stronger economic advantage. However, Biko is coming across with, well, even higher level heroes. You can see the Abomination regenerating hit points like a madman. The War Golem also going to get taken down here. Are we going to see any level ups? Yes, we are. Level 4 now on the Lich. So 4-4-4 going up against a level 5, I believe, level 3 here. And the army sizes, well, 55 supply compared to 58. Entangling of the gold mine nearly done. Sonik will have to saturate that gold mine here. Meanwhile, main gold mines still have more than 10 minutes of mining left. So there isn't pressure on the clock just quite yet. Not a lot of base defense here either, and no Nature's Blessing, so these treants do not have any additional armor. Undead is going to be able to just, well, send this Tree of Life to the grave. He's not going to even mine a single bit of gold out of this gold mine here. This was a long-term investment, a wisp, the gold for the Tree of Life, and it did not return anything at all, save for trying to delay the onslaught of Biko's army. All right. Is it going to buy time to perhaps clear out a difficult creep camp? This red creep camp is only, well, is not its former glory. Only a couple of Forest Troll Berserkers were left there, but it does give level 4 to the Demon Hunter as the Abominations are now in that frontline spot. 1 Obsidian Statue, 2 Destroyers, some Crypt Fiends. The Abominations with that Disease Cloud, very deadly, as the Druids of the Claw are now making their rounds out here. 63 over 50 supply. Sonik is very much upside down on supply and losing Moonwells left and right. Now down to 63 over 30. Any unit that is lost is not going to be able to be retrained in quite some time. Death Knight, well, getting closer to level 5. And here, this is going to turn into a little bit of who can poke and force the other player to make a mistake first. All right. Triad's going to go ahead and try and engage the Destroyers. Destroyers trying to engage against the Druids of the Talon. Druids of the Talon winning out on that battle. Both sides still fighting here. 1 Druid of the Talon gone. Another Druid of the Talon could get taken down there. Both of them are gone now. There's a big Frost Nova here. So exchanging of the battlefield. There's a big mana burn once more. There's a Death Coil onto the Lich. Lich could try and finish off. There goes another. There's some more roars as another bear gets taken down. Both sides suffering heavy casualties as the Demon Hunter, well, with no targets to really mana burn, but there's no more Destroyers, so the Entangle actually does quite a bit of damage. All right, 1 Lich about to get taken down. There it goes. Obsidian Statues in the back. Naga Sea Witch. Both sides continue to fight. Crypt Fiend could get taken down. Sonik able to, well, really put in a lot of damage here. Staff of Preservation for the save. Lich now back out here onto the battlefield. No Staff of Preservation for this bear as the Death Knight now gets up to level 5. Demon Hunter needs to run back in onto the battlefield, and I believe Sonik overpressed his position, is now going to lose just far too many bears. Demon Hunter is back out here onto the battlefield, wondering what he missed, and well, the army is just its former self again. All right, 1 Abomination is still going to apply a lot of Disease Cloud onto those Dryads. Dryads really challenging that Destroyer. There's some Devour magic keeping that Destroyer alive a little while longer as the Demon Hunter could get taken down. No. Staff of Preservation for the save. Again, Abomination. That's going to get taken down. Oh, wait, are the gold mines mined out? Okay, so that was 2 minutes of mining left, not 10 minutes of mining left. My apologies. Naga Sea Witch coming back around here. We're looking at the Naga Sea Witch down to 26 hit points. Gonna take a little bit more damage. Is it have invisibility? It does. Invisibility right there. Lich could be in trouble though. Giving double level up to the Keeper of the Grove and the Demon Hunter. All right. Keeper of the Grove. Both sides going to fight. Are we going to see an Entangle? Yes, we do. Death Knight doesn't have enough mana. Can we see another mana burn? Yes, we are. Both sides still fighting. Potion of invulnerability. Now going to go ahead and battle it up here. Keeper of the Grove could be in trouble. Down to 73. The cold arrows. Now Keeper of the Grove falls at level 6. All right, Invul Potion right there. Are we going to see a mana burn? A mana burn could finish it off. A 10-point mana burn finishes off the Naga Sea Witch. Demon Hunter trying to head back off to the north. Both sides still exchanging blows. Demon Hunter down to 73 hit points. Disease Cloud on him. He's still somehow able to regenerate a little bit of hit points, but, well, having some major problems here still. Going to go ahead and turn the corner down to 33 hit points. Going to head back off to the north here, and it looks like he's going to be able to at least get back home. There is that Tree of Eternity. It's going to try and entangle this gold mine here in just a moment. There's a rejuvenation onto the Demon Hunter, and with that, he feels refreshed, ready for battle once again. All right, Death Knight may get mana burned again. There's another mana burn. And we're looking at perhaps a fight at the Fountain of Health. Demon Hunter no longer having rejuvenation. And this is a weird spot to be in. All right, so the Demon Hunter is regenerating hit points. And this is like a math calculation right here. Death Knight getting regenerating hit points. This is a percentage-based regeneration. But remember, the Demon Hunter also has higher armor, so he's actually taking less damage. So this is one of those weird spots where it's effective hit points versus actual as both sides are fighting their way through. All right, Demon Hunter seems to be okay for now. Could get another rejuvenation just in case there's another mana burn again. And both sides fighting. Biko looking to back up again. Sonik looking to entangle this gold mine here, and the Demon Hunter trying to apply some damage over time with that Orb of Venom, really racking it up. All right, Death Knight could be making its way over. Entangle gold mine, not yet ready. The Wisps, are they going to be able to jump inside? That is going to be a little bit of a difficult proposition. Is going to be able to jump inside that Wisp? Wisp, yes, able to jump inside at the last second. All right. No gold being mined anywhere, and Sonik seems to be okay. He is resurrecting his Keeper of the Grove, sitting at 28 over 30. Remember, Sonik could not spend his gold at all because he was upside down on supply for so long. Meanwhile, Biko now being forced to do the, well, unsummoning to get additional units back out onto the battlefield. There's a big mana burn again onto that obsidian statue. As we're looking at 28 over 50 supply, perhaps going to try and resurrect the Naga Sea Witch now. There's another mana burn onto the obsidian statue. So that obsidian statue down to pretty much no mana, or like taking quite a bit of damage and a lot less mana. There goes some more, unsummoning. So this is an all-in situation. Not going to be able to train up anything else, as once these buildings are unsummoned, the supply count is just going to be 33 over 10. Could perhaps buy some more items from this Tomb of Relics as an all-in precaution, as the Lich has major crazy damage. Plus 32 damage on auto attack right there on a 750 hit point level 4 Lich. Wow, 70 damage per auto attack. That is not something that you normally expect to see from a Lich at this point in the game. Are we going to see perhaps a little bit of damage go down onto a Druid of the Claw? We're going to see a Mana Burn. There's a Frost Nova. There's going to be a little bit of damage. There's a Death Coil as Sonik trying to back away. Sonik does have the economic advantage, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't have the army right now. The auto-attacking Lich dealing so much damage again, removing a good chunk of that armor, and now going after this Ancient of War. A couple of Acolytes are also over here. They could perhaps be trying to join in on the battle, provide corpses, or even repair that obsidian statue, bringing everything to the battle to try and win it out. There's another mana burn onto the Lich. Keeper of the Grove back out here onto the battlefield. There goes an entangle onto the Lich. Lich could be in trouble. Death Knight has no way of healing whatsoever. No, Death Coil for the save. Potions of mana, giving a nice 600 hit point heal. Death Knight does have enough for another Death Coil again. Are we going to see a Mana Burn? There's the Mana Burn, only 25, but it heals up the Lich once more as damage is still getting racked up. There goes another Entangle. Lich could be in some serious trouble. There's another Death Coil. Had enough mana. Gets another Death Coil again, and that Lich down to, well, 400 hit points already and dropping steadily, as the Death Knight could get another Death Coil off again. There's another Death Coil once more. So that Lich has just taken so much damage. The dual potions of mana, such a big deal. There's a Staff of Preservation for the save, as this Druid of the, or this Demon Hunter needs to stay alive, gets another rejuvenation again, and the Keeper of the Grove is perhaps going to try and back up again. All right. Both sides fighting. Are we going to get another rejuvenation onto this Keeper of the Grove again? That's what we need to see. A lot of healing. You can see Sonik is starting to restabilize, getting back up to 38 over 40 supply, as we're looking at a Druid of the Claw now taken down. There's another Mana Burn again there. Finally going to try to shut down the Death Knight. Death Knight doesn't have any way to go. We're looking at some Dark Rituals, trying to get some more damage again. There's another Mana Burn onto the Lich. Lich unable to get those Death Coils or those Frost Novas off. A little bit more damage. Death Knight down to 200 hit points, down to 100 hit points. Is it going to fall? It is. Staff of Preservation brings the Demon Hunter down to the bottom side here, as we now see level 5 on that Lich. Level 3 Frost Nova could be available, and that Lich is getting mana pretty consistently from this obsidian statue. Remember that plus 32 damage. This is 73 damage per attack from that Lich. That is a crazy amount of auto attack damage that, well, the Death Knight was constantly able to heal. All right, are we going to see another Entangle onto an Abomination? Obsidian statue is right there. A little bit more damaged. Ancient now making its way back off to the north. Demon Hunter was healed at the Fountain of Health and now getting ready to engage again. There's a little bit more damage. All right, Keeper of the Grove down to 6 hit points. Oh, Tranquility not in time to keep him alive. Mana Burn onto the Lich, but too little, too late. Level 6 now onto the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter could go into Metamorphosis. Is he going to go into Metamorphosis? That is the question. There's Metamorphosis. He's going to try to finish off that Lich. Who's going to fall in time? There goes the Naga Sea Witch, and Biko would have lost that Lich as well. The Metamorphosis damage, and wow. Great game here. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.